This is Ralph Garafola, who's come today to talk about oils, but light and dark and whatever, and he'll tell you everything about it. So, take it.
Like I said earlier, I want you to walk away with something useful and what you should know. Not how to paint it, but what you should know. And looking at the show, and I find that all over the place. Most people, they're making beautiful paintings, beautiful flowers, nice full color, but they forget the form, the light and shade on these objects. The drawings are wonderful. Like I said, I saw the show, I was really impressed. I didn't expect that nice response there at the show. But anyway, there are a lot of things that lacked light and shade. Forget color. We're just talking about how light or dark something is. Later on is that color, how light or dark. But anyway, and to explain this a little bit is that as artists, you should understand the language of art. Color has 3 dimensions. Color has hue, value, and chroma. Okay. Every piece of paint has 3 dimensions. That's what it is. When you talk about hue, it's red, green, blue, and so on. The value is how light or dark it is. Nothing to do with color, how light or dark. The chroma is how weak or strong the color is. Strong bright red or weak red. Okay, so the hue is the red, blue, green, whatever. Value is light or dark, and chroma is weak or strong. That gets confusing at the beginning. Once you know that, no matter what you're painting, and you can't match the paint, there can only be 3 things wrong with every piece of paint. 3 things wrong. Most of the time, the hue is right. Whether it's red or reddish, bluish, most of the time it's that. So what do you got left? 2 things that could only be wrong with any piece of paint you're going to mix. How light or dark, how weak or strong. If you have that in your head, you'll never get mixing all different kind of colors together. All you're going to want is what? Understand the color, hue, value, and chroma. That's a standard, international standard. If you want to paint your walls and you want a red with the 6th value and the medium chroma, let's say 8 chroma, you send that note to a manufacturer in Germany, you will get exactly that kind of paint. It's an international standard, and it's since 1903. It's not something new. Why people don't use it, I don't understand, but that's what it is. Anyway, getting back, in 1903, a guy by the name of Munsell came up with color theory. And what they figured out was that if you broke down, first of all, in nature, everything is out there, okay? And we have to duplicate nature if you're painting realism with the equipment that we have that's over here. So all we have is white and black. That's all. And what's in between. We can't go brighter than white, we can't go darker than black, but we can go in between. So what they found is that if they broke down 9 equal steps, black being 0, and 9 equal steps to white, you can recognize those. And since there's no way to talk about values, you have to give them a number. Okay, so you have from 1 to 9, those are 9 equal steps. And that's what you judge everything by. A light or dark, because that's the maximum range we have. This is extremely important. I don't care what else you do, here's the 9 equal values. From white to black, and 9 equal steps. And all my students do this, just like I did in 1952. I still use it. Okay? 9 equal steps. This is your Bible. I don't care what you're painting or what the color is. The light and shade, this is what it is. And lo and behold, Art and Frame sells a chart symbol. They're missing one, but that's okay. It's close enough. There's white and black and eight values in between. Now these are neutral. They're not warm and they're not cool. They're black, ivory black, titanium white, and just a touch of orange. Because if you mix white and black, there's blue in black. It makes a cool gray. These are neutral. They're not warm, they're not cool, they're neutral. And the reason why I use neutral, when you put this in any kind of paint you're using, it does not change the temperature of the paint. It neutralizes it. Remember the Chroma? It neutralizes it, but it does not change the color or the temperature. If it's a warm color, it's going to stay warm. If it's a cool color, it's going to stay cool. Okay? All it is doing is changing how light or dark that is, and of course, the more gray you put in the color, the weaker it's going to get. You're changing the chroma also. But I suggest you buy one of these, okay? And all you do is, through those holes, you match what you're looking at, and it'll tell you what value that is, so that you can mix it and paint it exactly that way. Okay, so this is quite well. In fact, they ran out of it. They're ordering more, I guess. I made a stampede to the store there. They sold them all. But anyway, they reordered this. It's the first time I saw them printed. I have my students actually make these. A grayscale value finder. Yeah, it's a value chart. Okay. I tube my own grays so that I don't have to mix them all the time. You can come up here later on and see I have all 9 rows tubed. Art supply stores sell empty tubes. Mix your paint, fill up your tubes, and you have. I don't expect you to do that. It's all up to you. I just want to explain what it is and how important it is. Obviously, whatever subject you're going to paint, the values of it will change depending upon the light source. If it's a bright light, naturally they're going to be lighter. If it's a dull light, it's going to be dark. If it's a colored light, it's going to affect. Okay, so just to show you the difference of values, what it does. I got the same subject. This isn't a real life thing. I just made it up because I wanted a full range. I wanted a black roof and a white house. So we got from a black object and a white object and other things in between. Okay? And to show you just by changing the light source, what happens. Okay? This first one is going to be a nice Florida sunny day. Here's a house with some trees, some grass, and a sky, and it's going to be a Florida, any sunny day. And what happens if you know the values, you can paint whatever you're going to paint indoors. You don't have to go outside. If you know the values, you can do all studio paintings indoors. Now the sky is a vault. It's not flat. It's a vault. If you look straight up, it's a blue sky. It's the 7th value. Right there. Straight up. The zenith of the sky straight up is the 7th value. The zenith in a painting, you're looking out, okay, is the 8th value. Okay, and then it goes down to the horizon, which becomes 9.5. That's value. Okay. Color-wise, it goes from blue to the horizon because you're looking at atmosphere is viridian. So we have I paint wet and wet. I keep my paints wet. don't let it dry. Okay, so I paint right away. And to save all the work that I do, I use oil of cloves. If you go to the health, they used to get it in the drugstore. Years ago, they used to use it for toothaches.
Yes.
They don't use that anymore, but health food stores have it. I don't know what they do with it, but health food stores have it. They sell it by an ounce. And 2 drops of that in every piece of paint. And keep that piece of paint wet on the palette for a month.
What is the drops of what?
Oil of cloves.
Oh,
Oil of
okay.
cloves. There's 3 ways to paint. There's a la prima, which is what I do. Draw with the brush, wet and wet. There's scumbling, like good old Rembrandt. Keep adding color on top of color. If you look at his paints in the light, different stick and the shadows, they're real, okay? And there's glazing, where you put transparent color over transparent color, similar to watercolor. That's the only 3 ways you can paint in oil. Glazing, scumbling, and a la prima. Now, again, if you're a glazer, there's old-fashioned recipes that they use: linseed oil, turps, and varnish. Whatever the combination, I think it's, huh?
Wet one.
Well, that would take the place of some of that, but this is old-fashioned recipes, okay, for glazing. So that it makes paint transparent and degrades without the glaze. There's modern mediums today, but that's what they used years ago. 5 parts oil, 1 part turps, 1 part varnish, mixed together. That's a glazing. It's an old recipe, it goes back hundreds of years. It's still being used today. A lot of people use it.
Marge? Are you talking about Marge?
So if you do the same thing you're doing with acrylics, you just use it thick, right? So you're not washing it, right?
Yeah. If you're painting with acrylics, yeah, the same way. Or, again, one of the advantages of acrylics, you can thin it out like watercolor. Use it as washes and come back with heavy paint. So, that's one of the advantages of acrylics. I hate it because it kills your brushes. There's a paint that ruins good brushes, it's acrylic. Never let it dry on the brush. Okay? Keep it wet, wash them right away, and so on. That's another thing. I'm a sticker for brushes. These things are, some of them are 50 years old. Do they look it? The paint belongs on the canvas, not on the brushes.
What brand of brushes are
These are old brushes. Some are so old that the bristles are turning brownish because of age, not because there's paint on them. Yeah. Turning brown. I bought this brush in 1952. Look at it. This is Simmons. Signet Simmons. Because each manufacturer makes several brands of brushes. One of the greatest brushes on the market. Simmons, there's Windsor Newton, and lately there's a new kid on the block called Silver brushes, okay? I don't care what paint you use cheap paint, but buy the best brushes you could afford. They're your tools, and they'll outlast you. If you keep them clean.
Yeah, how do you keep
Okay. When I'm painting now, I wash some paint thinners, okay? Get all the paint out of it, and you think the paint's out of it. And then I go to the sink and with ivory soap and warm water, wash them and scrub them in the palm of your hand. And I wash those brushes until the suds coming out of the brush are pure white. Then there is no paint on that brush. If there's still a little tinge of whatever color that was there, that brush is not clean. Don't get lazy, clean the brushes. I work in the wee hours of the morning. I'm not a morning person, so I work the wee hours, and no matter how tired I am, those brushes get washed. I don't leave there until those brushes are washed. Okay, so it's thinnest, get all the loose paint out, and soap and water. I like Ivy soap. The reason it's white soap, so I can judge if there's a color in the suds. When those suds are pure white, the brushes are clean, and that's the way they'll stay. And when you finish this shape, to hold it, because it'll stay that way. I see brushes like this. How can you paint with a brush? I don't know. Some of you may have them. I don't know. But anyway, that's important. Okay? The brushes deserve to be treated nicely.
Do you use,
They're expensive.
do you use synthetics or sable or?
Both, okay. I used to use, for real fine stuff, clean sweep, red sable brushes. They're great for watercolor, but in oil, the thinness kills them. It chews them up, it's too strong. But the synthetics they have today are really great for oils. There's nylons, there's various types of synthetics. They're all good for fine stuff and so on. Okay. The red sables are so expensive and they don't last. The thinness, especially turps, it eats them right up, they fall apart. Never clean your brush in turps. Turps you use to thin paint with oil. You use mineral spirits to clean your brushes. There's other names on the market, Gablin and so on and so forth. Any odorless paint thinner, that's what you clean your brushes on, not turps. Turps is expensive, and it's not for cleaning brushes. It's for mixing in paints. So I'm gonna get some stuff down here. This isn't the greatest stuff for oil paint, I can tell you right now. I never used it before, and I don't plan to use it again.
For that surface.
So much for a bargain. It happened to be the right size and a solid surface, so I figured, okay, let me use it.
Do you paint almost every day?
Clay surfaces, water.
Do you paint almost every day?
Well, it depends where I'm at. Down here, yes. At home, there's a lot of things that get in the way. There's a big house to take care of. There's a big sailing yacht that I have to take care of. Other things get in the way, friends and so on and so forth. Landscaping, there's always things around the house I have to do. Here, I just rent. I say hello to my landlord, I open the door, that's it. There's nothing else to do with paint. So this is what I do down here. And my wife caught on and she came down here. She's still working, so she comes back and forth. And like I said, this is my 6th year. And 3 years ago, she does all the planning when we come down here, finds out what's going on. And so when I met her at the airport, I says, well, what do you want to do? She says, you gotta take me to your art supply store. I said, what? She said, I want to paint. So I took her to the art supply store. She likes acrylics, and she started painting. And she was accepted in the Watercolor Society this season. She exhibited at home. She sold the painting out here while she was working on it at the Bridge Street thing there. Okay? At home, she sold 5 paintings. I said, why don't you quit your job? And it's fantastic, you know. So people that never tried it before, it's a great way to go. In fact, a lot of psychiatrists recommend it for therapy, don't they? So, you know, whatever you think. All right, so here we've got a sky that's graded, okay, from light to dark to darker, and from Viridian to, now what I found too, and it's amazing how areas change. At home, I'm from New Jersey, in the New York area, and the blue of the sky is phthalo blue. It's a green and blue. I came down here and I said, what's happening here? I guess here it's cleaner, or there's not as the same smog as soot, and it's ultramarine blue. So it is bluer. In fact, and 2 blues too. That's the blue in New Jersey. And it's not, see, it's not the blue, it's greener. But anyway.
You have to explain to me how you put the paint in the tube.
After you mix it, how do you do that? They're open at the bottom.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they are. Never mind. Never mind.
No, it's real simple. Art supplies to us. They sell tubes that are open. And you mix your paint with your palette knife. You put it in there. And when it's about that full, you flatten it down. And with the canvas pliers, you know, the flat ones, the big ones, you crimp it so that you know, your tube, there's your cap. You crimp it and you fold it. Just like the regular tubes. So you fill it in, it's open. And you tap it so that the paint goes down the bottom.
What grade of paint do you use?
Anything, okay? I have Winsor Newton, Grumbacher,
But it's not,
Holbein.
none of it is studio grade, it's better than studio grade.
Yeah, no, to get professional grade paint, yeah. You know, like Winsor Newton makes a student grade paint. It's the reason why I say I don't care what kind of paint you use is that the difference is the pigment is the same. Okay. If you buy Winsor Newton, it's an expensive paint. In the tube, maybe 2/3 of that in that tube is the pigment itself, the red pigment, whatever it is. Okay. The rest is linseed oil and aluminum stearate as a fill. Now, if you buy Grumbacher, it's a cheaper paint. So maybe instead of 2/3, maybe a half is pigment. The rest is linseed oil and aluminum stearate. So it's less pigment. That's the only difference. The pigment itself is the same. So what does that do? In other words, the Winsor Newton, you use less pigment to get a certain tint because there's more pigment in that tube. So you're using less of the red to make a certain red that you want. With the cheaper paints, you have to use a little more of what's in that tube to get what you want. That's all it is. So, but the brushes are different. Bristol brushes, pure hog, usually from China, and the synthetics. I found, like I said, that the silver, it's relatively new company, they call ruby reds. These are synthetics. They're wonderful. Instead of red staples, $5 or $6, I guess.
What's the brand again?
This is silver.
Is that something that you're getting out of New York and that, or?
No, every art supply.
It's all around.
Most art supply stores have it, yeah.
Okay.
It's a major manufacturer. But compared to Simmons and Winsor Newton and some of they're new. They're younger than the other companies. With the Simmons, you can never go wrong. Using this brush since the 1950s. And they're old faithful, okay?
And what's that
They're
bristle?
wonderful.
What's the bristle on that? What's it
These are hard.
called? Oh,
It's old because it's turning brown. There's no paint, it's just from age. Okay? But they're all bristles. Bristol brushes. And again, I recommend flats. This is a bright. Same brush. One is a bright and one is a flat. Brights are really good for real thick paint. The flats are better. You can do anything with the flat. Round Bristol brushes, you keep in the store. They're useless. Okay? No round Bristol brushes. Flats. Now, a lot of things that is popular today is the filberts, where they're round and that's a personal thing. A lot of portrait painters use that because you can start with this sort of a rounder stroke. Okay, I have some. I never use them. I still find this is the best brush there is. Flat. You hold it on the edge, you draw a line. Okay, and that's what I recommend. I do recommend, for real painting eyelashes on a person and so on, then buy number 2 or 3 watercolor brush round. That's the only round brushes you can use. Only for these little things. Okay, again, sable or synthetic watercolor brush. But these round bristles, stay away. Stay away. Okay. We got a sky in there. Now here's something that sometimes they don't have in Florida here. A nice fluffy cloud. Just
What white is that? Is that,
Titanium for it.
is it titanium or?
titanium, yeah. Now, in outdoors, in sunlight, okay, sunlight is a warm light. So what you do is, if you take white, no matter where you're going to use it, and just put a touch of orange, just a touch, to warm it up. The white is going to look whiter than pure white. Pure white from the tube is not going to look as white as a warmer white. So this is warmed up. Get something that sort of looks like a cloud in here. Okay. Now, a cloud, a nice healthy cloud, nice and fluffy. The cloud on the bottom is flat. You go outside, look at the clouds. The bottoms are flat. Not the one above you, because you're looking at the bottom, but when you look out, it's nice, beautiful clouds. You'll notice that they're flat. So, just want to get a shot of it there because I'm going to explain that to you in a minute. Okay. Again, if you look outside and you look at a nice beautiful cloud, and if you squint, the shadow of that cloud is the same value as the sky next to it. Okay? Whatever the sky value is, the shadow of that normal flying cloud is this, if you squint, it blends. The cloud is gray, the sky is blue, but they're the same value, they're the same light or darkness. They're the same.
You said the bottom, right, is the same value.
The shadow side, the shadow. Whatever's in the shadow of the cloud. Okay, so we got here, these values match, they're the same. Right? So much for that. All right, look, we got a White House with a black roof. Black in the sunlight is the fifth value. It's right here. It's not black, it's over here. So, now, in a sunny day, you have two sources of light. You have sunlight, which is a point light, and the shadow on a sunny day is lit by the sky, which is it's not a point light, it's a blue light, diffused light from the sky, so it's bluish. So one light source is warm and the other is cool.
Is it always the same? Warm, cool, warm, cool? All the time?
Isn't the sky always blue? The light from the sky is cool.
Right.
The sun is a hot, warm, bright. It's always a warm. Okay. There's two kinds of light. This is the reason I'm doing this today, is to show you what happens when the light sources, same subject, but the light sources change. Okay, just by knowing the values. And all this can be figured out mathematically, incidentally. It's not just out of my head. But we won't get into that. You can figure out anything in your studio on how to paint it. If you know the local value and what value that is in light and shade. But there's a way to figure that out. Okay, so let's, we'll keep that for shadow. All right, so here's a black roof in sunlight, okay? Fifth value. And the black roof in shadow, black outdoors. Outdoors, remember, although it's in shadow, it's lit by the sky. So black outdoors is the second value. Okay. Black in the light, black in the shadow. Second value. If there's a hole, if this door was open, then it would be black. It's not in the light. Okay. Although the black is in the shadow, it's lit by the sky, so it becomes a second value, not solid black. Okay. Let's go down there. This black. Now, white. White House. Actually, you know, white and the light and sunlight. Nice and white.
watercolor painting on wire.
You see it?
Yes, sir.
It's like spending chewing gum.
Too soon.
Oh boy. And I had a hunch that was gonna happen because I coated with oil, linseed oil, it just sucks it right in. Whatever this clay is, it may be great for watercolor, but boy, it swallows the oil up, something terrible.
Well, that's claymore you have. Is that what that is?
Yeah, it's a clay finish on masonite board.
You have
It's
watercolors.
made specifically for watercolors.
Correct.
Lynch is using it.
Yeah.
Lynch.
And, you know, they had it out front there because it was damaged with stains. So I said, okay, it's a good size for me. And for $3, what the heck, I'll use this instead of canvas board. And this is what's happening here. Just want to get this white house in here. This tent, white. White in the light is white. And since you mentioned that, just remind me here. There's some things you cannot paint outdoors. I'll explain that in a minute. That's why I'm doing this, instead of spending time doing finished painting, there's things you have to know, okay? You can't paint the sun outdoors, there's nothing that bright. You can't paint the glints on water from the sun. Again, it's too bright. You can't paint a bright red sweater or coat outdoors. There's nothing that strong. The strongest red we have is cadmium red light. Okay, and to match that outdoors, to match it the right value, the red coat outdoors would be, it'll turn pink. So in order to paint a red coat outdoors, you have to cheat. Lighten it a little bit and you darken it a little bit so that it looks like a red coat outdoors in light and shade. But you cannot paint those three things because our paint range isn't that bright. We only have white. And it doesn't compare with the brightness of the sun, okay? So, and then of course the glint, from the sun on water, you can paint the glint of the sky on the water, but not the sun. People try, they use white paint in there, and you're better off just forget about it, just put highlights of the sky, which was what happens anyway. The refraction of light, you see the sky in the water. Later on, if we have time, I'll tell you how to paint water. Okay?
You'll have time. Hey, you'll have time.
I have all day, so it doesn't matter to me. Okay. There's the white, there's the house in the white. Okay.
It's a good idea too, when she said to get the direction of which way your light is coming from.
Oh, you have to establish where the light source is, yes.
Yeah,
Okay, right now, this is coming this way.
yeah.
Okay. I see paintings where it's all over the place, so you can't tell where the light is. Okay. All right, so now, outdoors, something white in the shade, in the shadow, is the 8th value. It's lit by, it's in the shadow, it's lit by the sky. So, it's white in the shadow is the 8th value.
So if I'm looking at the girl in the red skirt, then you have the values, the darker
Okay,
values.
so that's a 6 value skirt in the light, okay, and in the shadow it's 2, okay? But it's a cadmium red skirt, locally. But now you paint that red skirt, you're telling me from skirt, from, you paint it in the light and in the shadow. So it's using my values, but it has to be red. Is that what, yes? No?
I think I'm thinking of the gray value.
You mix
That you
your
have on
gray
your-
into your red.
No, it's something.
Only to neutralize it. If I didn't want that skirt to be that red, I would add the 6th value gray. If the
Yeah,
skirt,
that's
if
what
the
we're
red
trying
is
to
the
figure
6th
out.
value, the 6th value gray, added to that would neutralize it. That's changing the chroma.
Right.
That's the chroma part.
But you always have those 10 values on your
Always,
palette.
always.
Okay.
Yeah, too.
Right.
I live with these things.
Right.
Okay,
I
they're
can see
always.
it in the background.
I'll show you a portrait. There it is.
That
See that there? That's my portrait palette. I painted my portrait using those colors right there. And you see all the values in there. Use it all the time. And now again, under the eaves, in other words, this really isn't lit. If that was white, it was not lit by the sky. So obviously, it's another value to darker. It's not 8 anymore because it's an underplane. So that's a little darker there. And over here. Okay. These are slight gradations of value change, but that's what happens. Let's get a clear shadow in here.
Ralph, are you
Yeah.
relying on your value painting underneath to establish your value? Are you kind of glazing over?
Normally you do, yes. In other words, the reason for the underpainting is to get as accurate as you can in the values, okay? I didn't do this here because it wasn't moving. I just wanted to get away from the white background. Never paint on a white canvas. If you're not gonna do this, tint it. Never start with the white canvas, because if you start with the white canvas, unless you have years and years of experience, the first paint you put down is gonna look like it's too dark. It may be right, but against the white, it's gonna look too dark. That's why, ideally, you start with a tinted canvas somewhere in there. My palette, that's the 5th value. When I mix paint here, it's not gonna look too light or too dark, because it's against the middle value. So it treats all the color the same way. My palette is a piece of masonite board with gray sheet of paper, a neutral gray, ideally the 5th value, and a piece of glass. So that when I want to remove this paint, I take just a razor, scrape it off, and I bring it over again. Okay? These people you see with the wooden palettes like the one on that painting, that's just for show. You're holding something, that's just for show. You see people with globs of paint, hard. What a waste of paint. What are you going to do with that? Okay, it looks pretty, hang it on the wall.
So when you started your paintings though,
Yeah.
and used the gray, the middle gray to start out, then you put the darker gray for shadows as you used on this one here?
On here?
Yeah, when you started with the medium gray, you said 5 value. for your background.
No, I didn't say the fifth, no. The palette is painted gray.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
What did you put on your white there to
This.
start with? Yes.
This, and then I added more so that I have shapes here, okay? Now, if you did this carefully, the roof would have been darker than this, and so your values would have been these values, but all in this one color, okay? I got close to it here because of the fact that it wasn't moving, okay? I was shocked when I put it on. In fact, I kept coating this thing with linseed oil and it just sucked it up like a sponge. So this is as close to it as I can get, value-wise.
Lights and darks.
Lights and darks, whites and darks. That's as close as I can get, okay?
So you start all of your paintings more than with the lights and darks like that.
All
You
of
paint over it
All
with
of
the
it,
color.
you paint all of it. Okay, you paint over it. In other words, you're concerned about the values. We're talking about values now.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what colors are in here, just how light or dark things are.
Yeah.
The house is light, it's darker in the shadow. The trees you can't see here, trees are in the light, they're in the shadow. You want the value changes. Later you put the colors, whatever colors are going to go in the painting. And if this is done correctly, all you do is match whatever value this is with the paint, and you put it on there. That's the reason for that. It's to make your next step easy. Instead of judging drawing and values and color at the same time, it's tricky. But if you start with a drawing and a value correctly, then all you do is, if this is a white house, put white that value. If it's a green tree, green that value. Okay? So it helps your next step. That's what it's for. All right? So let's get here. Okay, let's talk about trees. The tree up close to average standard foliage tree. Not palms because there's spin, okay, but nice full healthy tree. In the light. In the light is the sixth value. Whatever this tree is. Now the tree is also in shadow. And the tree in shadow, close up to you, is the fourth value. You can look at these trees when you get out there. Nice healthy looking tree. And I'm just trying to get something that sort of resembles a tree. Okay, in light and shade. Now we got a tree here, same thing, in light and shade. As things go away from you, you recede to the atmosphere. Okay, so as it recedes away from you, it gets lighter and weaker because light is being affected by atmosphere. Okay, so now, instead of 6, this tree here in the light is 7. Okay. Slightly lighter, and you notice it's not a strong green because it's being affected. Going away from it, okay? You literally have
atmosphere and so on. So now that tree is also in the shadow. So that tree in the shadow. Now as you recede back in daylight, you recede back to the horizon. So it gets grayer and it gets lighter. The farther back you go, the lighter it gets value. We're talking about values, light or dark. So the shadow in here is the 5th value. You notice it's not as contrasting as the tree up front. Okay? Now we have another tree further back. So that tree further back is the 8th value. And again, it's not a strong green, it's grayer because there's more atmosphere. And so, then likewise with the shadow, the shadow of that tree is 6. Shadows get lighter. So you see the trees grading back to atmosphere. Okay? This hill in the background is affected by more atmosphere. It's not as strong green. Let's paint here. Notice the color is getting weaker in chroma. Right now we're this lesson here is concentrated on values, but we also, there's a chroma change here, aside from the values. Okay, notice it gets weaker in chroma. Okay. And of course, if there was trees, you would see the underplanes of them, whatever. Okay, whatever. Okay. So now we got trees. Let's get it. Something here. Now we got grass. A nice, beautiful lawn. We could Look at the golf courses out there on a sunny day. Mowed nicely. The shorter the grass, the lighter it is. The taller the grass, it gets a little darker. Okay, but a beautiful morning on a sunny day is that. If you don't think that is, you go look at it when you're through here. Huh? That was, it's green, and it's lit by the sun, and it's a nice, warm, this is the 8th value. Neglected to mention that, okay? Beautiful morning sunlight is the 8th value. Okay, now with everything else, as you receive back, you get weaker in chroma and lighter. Again, the ground is going back, fading back towards the atmosphere. And if you look for that, you'll see that too. This will go back all the way, if it goes back far enough, 9.5 values. Okay, it goes from 8s I hope I'm getting through to you as far as.
This is the best demo I've ever seen on that.
Amen.
Well, this is what it's all. This is just value. I'm not concentrating on anything else. Yeah, I'm making some chroma changes, you know, because you're changing value, changing chroma also. But again, this has to do, like I said, with values. Values make 80% of any form. 80%. The other 15% is edges, how you treat edges. And maybe 5% is the strength of chroma. Okay? So values is the key. Let's get this in. Okay, so you have a gradation. Okay, from 8 going back to light. Now you have a clear shadow here. The clear shadow on the wall. Or maybe a tree that's on the outside there, okay? Clear shadow. It's the 6th value.
Back to 6, did you say?
Yeah, this is 6th. Okay, shadows here. Okay, shadow from this tree. And cast shadow from the house. Okay. 6th value. Now what's happening? If you notice, outdoors, the range between light and shade is 2 values. Because the shadow's lit by the sky, so it closes down the value range. Indoors, there's 5 values. Outdoors is 2 values. So again, the light is white, and in the shadow is 2 values, it's 8. Okay? In the light, it's 6, in the shadow, 2 values darker, 4. So there's a 2 value difference outdoors on a sunny day. Okay, we got, let's get some kind of, let's have a look at this. All right, now. Dirt, yes.
You said on a sunny day, what about not on a sunny day?
Not on a sunny day.
Still 2 values?
There's no clear shadows on a cloudy day like today. What do you got out there? You only have underneath, it's called a penumbra. It's not a clear shadow, it's slightly darker. It's soft, okay? On a day like today, all the values are the shadow values. You were painting this scene today, the whole tree would be this value, the whole tree would be that value. All the grass would be this value. There's no sunlight, but there is the skylight. Don't forget, the shadows on a sunny day is lit by the sky. So that on a cloudy day, it's all lit by the sky. The difference on a cloudy day is that the sky is the ninth value, gray, all the way up and down. Complete, there's no gradation. It's a cool, warmish, neutralish gray. Okay, so what happens though is the value, but your colors are more neutral because it's not a blue light anymore. It's a neutral light. So although the values will be the same, they won't be as cool.
It won't make as good a picture.
Huh?
It wouldn't make as good a picture.
Do the picture?
It would not make as good a
Oh,
picture
no,
on a
no,
cloudy day.
no.
You wouldn't really
No.
give
no.
as much
But
contrast.
again, you know, outdoor painting is a mood. It's a mood subject, it's a mood day. If you do a landscape painting, if it's done correctly, you can tell the season, the time of day, what kind of day. If the values are right. That's the beauty of it, okay? You can paint any kind of day that you want to paint, and it's going to look like that day. All right, so where do we go? Let's get some colors. Don't forget about the shutters. Okay, ready? Oh, the dirt road. It's a dirt pit. They couldn't afford the concrete. Okay, nice healthy dirt and sunlight. Is the ninth value. Depending on what kind of dirt, it could be a little warmer than this. It's gonna get change here. Alright, so that's what we would have on a sunny day. And it looks like a sunny